Pops!
Gotta have my pops!
Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Little Friday's Popcast. We're going to talk about some movie stuff, have some fun hanging out for a minute, and be good times. It's going to be another really big box office type conversation that's going to be instigated this week because Odyssey arrives in theater. So thought I'd bring in a fun guest, talk about that, talk about some other stuff. So Jacob is back in the house. How you doing, brother? What's going on?
Good. Glad to be here. Glad I'm back on so soon. I love these discussions we have, so it'll be good. So let's ready to dive into it.
I feel like it's almost like a continuation of what we talked about. Right. So it seemed like a no-brainer to have you back. I was like, well, it's really kind of a continuation of what we already talked about. So I'm like, I'll have him back again instead of having someone else on and say, oh, yeah, I talked about this before. No, we already talked about some of this stuff. So we will work a continuation because now we can really get to the nitty-gritty of what happened with Supergirl and what happened with Toy Story and, some of that kind of stuff that we'll get to. So, but the news this week is all about the Odyssey, my friend. And are you surprised at how crazy this PR has become? This is absolutely insane stuff that's been out there.
I think fans have had enough. They've had enough of their favorite stories and shows just totally butchered. So I'm glad people are finally waking up, getting mad.
Yeah, I think that it's just been sort of a crazy week to think about the multitude of stories.
So Odyssey, yeah. My favorite one is the Greeks sent an open letter to Nolan saying how upset they were. It's just so cool to see people standing up.
Yeah, man, it's been it was a little crazy trying to navigate through what I think were just like one crazy story after another because the news broke that Christopher Nolan had made some just kind of shocking casting decisions with having Lupita Nyong'o as Helen. We can get to the Ellen Page thing as well as other cast members that are minorities in these Greek history, Greek mythology. What's that?
The rapper as the bard in
just bizarre decisions. And I don't totally know what he's thinking other than I feel like it's sort of like some checkbox stuff. He's got the Oscar under his belt, so he's placating to their ridiculous requirement type things. But then it's even weirder because we get the story about, this crazy leftist historian lady who wrote this interpretation that's very strange. That was part of it as well. And then we now find out that this Lupita character, this Lupita actress, she's actually playing like twins or something. I'm like, what is going on? Like what happened and what's happening with these people, Jacob? It's crazier and crazier.
Yeah. Plus that picture of them at the, I don't know what it was, but Ellen Page, it looks like a 12-year-old next to everybody standing there.
Oh yeah,
including the other women that are in the
show. You remember what your reaction was when I shared this with you? Do you remember what you said?
She was like a head. Everybody's like a head taller than her.
Your first response, I think, is, "What am I looking at?"
Yeah.
like what is this? And I'm like, yeah. So it's a little hard to tell. I don't know if I can blow it up or not. Let me see if it can. So in the beige is Ellen Page, now calling herself Elliot Page, literally a head shorter, nearly a head shorter. She's 5'1".
A hobbit?
She's not a hobbit. She could be. I didn't know the Odyssey had hobbits, but yeah. So yeah, Jacob's response.
Is that the woman on the far? Oh, on both sides, on both ends. There's the black girl, and there's another woman.
Anne
They're
Hathaway.
Also taller than her.
Oh yeah. They're all and I couldn't find the photo. There is a photo of all of the female performers around one another, and yeah, they're all towering over like Ellen Page. It's a manufactured thing, because now I've heard the character is not actually in the Odyssey. It's not Achilles like we originally were hearing some rumors of.
Yeah.
It's some other random character, I believe, that Virgil mentions in the Latin stories and epics. So yeah, I don't know.
They loved playing people with that one about her being Achilles. They couldn't just outright say, "Oh no, she's not playing that character."
True. I was thinking that too, that I think one of my takes was that maybe it was just all this rage bait and whatever. And it probably is to a certain extent, because they know that this is not what they were doing. But at the end of the day, it's still a manufactured casting to put this person in your film and have this, crazy situation that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So
yeah.
Let me go back to this quote by Lupita, because again, I'm talking about just the craziness of the PR, because we're going to get to how bad of a weekend it's going to probably be for this film. And in this story that's covering quotes from her, and she was asked about, imagine watching the Odyssey with Homer, the author. What would you ask him about seeing the film? And she says, I would be like, so Homer, how do you feel about the screen time given to these women, considering how little time you spent on them? And I'm like,
it's like, oh man.
They don't read
Homer
it, man.
would be like,
they don't have
hell
any
are you
idea what
talking
the
about?
story even is, Jacob. There's no way.
No, they don't.
That's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Hamilton jokingly asked if she would lean forward and give Homer a challenging look. Nyago responded, yeah, like, remember us? Like female, like, what are you talking about? The entire the entire film to her is about these women, and that is the tell. That is
Giving the time period, he would probably smack you upside the head.
Well, first off, he wouldn't have any respect to talk to her anyway. It's just not that type of era and time frame. Like her perspective is so backwards.
By the way,
the culture,
actors throughout history have not been very well thought of. I mean, even Shakespeare, the actors, they were all men that played women. So, and they were not, big, well thought of people. They were just actors. You know what I mean? They weren't like Hollywood has made actors today.
You're bringing up a very good point, right? Because the gladiators are the celebrities. The actors are just a dramatic version of being a jester.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a really valid point that is not being brought up in this point. These people are so full of themselves and acting like of anyone, Homer would care what you have to say. And reality is Homer wouldn't want to spend 2 seconds of time with you, like at all.
Yeah.
It makes no sense whatsoever. So yeah, I don't know. It's again, the PR and why all this matters to me. And I want your take, Jacob. It matters to me because obviously the Iliad, the Odyssey, the work by Virgil and others, they're these historical epics. They've held up for a reason. We all studied them in school. They still are getting studied in school. They have so many interesting elements to getting you more interested in history and culture and the influence of, Greek and Rome. And to have it being deconstructed and then being put on screen with so many ludicrous changes, it's so agenda driven, right? It's clearly that we're not doing this with different, maybe sort of African folklore or some other Middle Eastern folklore and things that, would offend
where are those
movies? Communities. So
where are those movies?
No, we don't do those.
I wouldn't mind seeing those. It wouldn't bother me. Let's have them. Yeah,
and I think that if you go over to like Indian cinema, which I've done, and you get sort of some adaptations and some folklore and some different things that have been brought to light, they're angry about those too.
Yeah,
they get offended to those too. So I don't want to hear about, this and this and this and this. Like, trust me, the British government is clearly pressuring the Indian film commissioners to not submit RRR for Best Picture of the Year. They're suppressing Sardar Udom because it makes the Brits look bad. It's all so much politicking and agenda that runs beyond the scope of what we see on screen.
Yeah, it's all the audience that pay our bills are racists and they don't want to see black movies. They're sexist and don't want to see female leads in movies. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, I agree. And they are so prejudiced and biased and have such an agenda. And we've been reacting time and time again to different teases and different photos and things that are now coming to light before we see the film. We'll now get to see the film and judge it all in its context. I do think that it's going to be I think it's going to be a similar division to most people that are fans of whatever's being adapted. And that if you don't know anything about the Iliad and the Odyssey, you'll probably be entertained. You'll like it. You'll be like, oh, it's fine. And if you are a fan or you're a fan of those type of culture and history, you're going to be vastly offended picking through issues with the armor, issue with the characters, characterizations, all that.
Look at my avatar.
Yeah. Yeah. Part of the reason I asked you to be here
and guess
was
what?
That perspective.
The helmet on my avatar is not the style of helmet they had in the time period that they're going for. It's a completely different style of helmet.
I was so off put by even just because Lupita goes on and says other crazy things. Like there's a comment later on about that the cast is a representative of the world. And I'm like, clearly it's a representative of the world today, not of the story. Because I thought, maybe it's just me, that his representation of Africans would be he would make Odysseus a slave owner or something. Like he would have slaves working in the bowels of the ship or something. That was something I expected, was that would be necessarily an extension of what's not in the original material, but an extension and a projection of their modern aesthetics into the story without altering the story. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
I wouldn't have been thrilled with it, but it would have made more sense to try to figure out how to shoehorn that in. I don't know. The fact that it's not just one character. It's clearly a whole bunch of characters, and this is what people are upset. You mentioned the bar.
It is made for today because it's the word. It's uses terminology that we use today, like dad.
Oh yeah.
It's like
that was cringy bad.
They're not even using classical language here. They're using our language. It didn't make any sense.
So the reference that Jacob's making is in the one trailer when Tom Holland's character is saying, "My dad will be back soon," and he says "dad," not father.
He went to get milk and cigarettes.
It was so. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't get there. It's at this point now kind of the typical love-hate creator content type situation that I had back with the Barbie Oppenheimer thing. And I feel like Oppenheimer is probably one of the most overrated of Christopher Nolan films. Like, I'm still trying to get my head around the massive love of the film. Like, I get that it's solid. It's just a film that really didn't need to be told out of order in typical Nolan style. Definitely didn't need to be focused so much on all this relationshipy behind the scenes stuff. We could have all endured a lot more science, by the way, a lot more fun elements of the Manhattan Project.
Your audience is a lot smarter than you give them credit for.
Oh, for sure. And I think it definitely benefited from the versus Barbie mantra that the media created, and the chuds, if you will, were going out. The Nolan fans were going out and watching this movie 6 times. I personally was pretty bored. I haven't watched it since. We'll probably wait till an anniversary era or something to watch it again, but it is not anything I'm interested in doing. Odyssey has now become that. No theater money's coming from the old Pops household. Probably will fit it in through other means to have it at least I can watch it and judge more. Because I really do think, I think you would agree, the impact of the Ellen Page's character, the Lupita characters, many of the other minority characters or female characters, they're probably a very small percentage of what will be a 3-hour film.
Right.
Right. It will mostly be about Matt Damon and, you know, a few other characters.
Yeah.
But yeah. There are others. I don't know which ones you've seen. John Leguizamo going into politicking as well. You know, if you don't agree with him, basically don't see my movies, don't see my stuff. So you have John Leguizamo telling us not to go see it too.
I'm fine with that. You know, I don't need to see this movie.
Can you imagine running a business and you have employees out there going, "Hey, don't buy our product," and you keep them? Like, I really can't get my head around this movement that we still have in Hollywood.
Something you would say, just a few years ago, gets you fired. You say something like this, if you're not getting talked to by the boss, you're getting fired. You know, you are not there to support yourself, your face. You have been hired to do a movie, and you up-talk your movie.
Yeah, I don't understand the undermining that the studio is tolerating. The media is doing their part, Jacob. I don't know if you've seen these kind of fluff pieces. A bigger opening than Oppenheimer, which is probably true because it's riding the coattails of Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer was a little bit of a slow burn and, you know, kind of grew over time and for a very long time because of the Oscars and everything else. So I do expect a very big, strong opening, and then it's all going to be about the word of mouth.
Then it's going to plummet.
It only has a couple weeks. We talked about it briefly with, you know, other films like Spider-Man coming. It's not as though, it also feels weird having this in the middle of a summer run. I don't know that this is what most people want to do during their summer theatrical experience, is to go and watch a big historical epic full of a bunch of weird intersectional casting decisions.
Political. I'm guessing it's going to have some political stuff shoved into it.
In addition to the
political stuff.
In addition to the casting and that type of virtue signaling.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer opened at 82.4. It'll easily get to that. Talking about his hot streak. I don't exactly know how they consider it a hot streak whenever Tenet is out there, and Tenet was not very good. It's not much of a streak.
I mean, his name carries a lot. Christopher Nolan's name. So, yeah,
we're gonna know.
I don't see it being a bad opening, but I guess that's what they think is important, but it's what happens afterward.
It used to be a bigger thing for me to want to go see it, and I know the other thing that they're going to get a big push from is the IMAX stuff, right? Because it was filmed entirely in IMAX, it's made for IMAX, and that obviously costs more per ticket. So we're not going to get focused on ticket sales; we'll get focused on receipts, and each seat is worth more money. Right. So again, for 2 weeks or so, it will be a big number. But the box office has not been kind right now. People are not churning out the way they were. And you and I talked about and predicted this. We were talking about other stuff. And I was really surprised. I know some people are maybe, I don't know, not surprised, but I was a little shocked that Minions didn't open stronger. People, I think, are just kind of over it. Minions opened, and it's still, let's pull this up here. Minions is only at 182. So it didn't open super strong. It opened at 37 the opening weekend, 62 overall. So it's gone up to about 182. That's a very weak. So they may have run that, I don't know, beat that horse dry. A little sick of the Minion thing.
Where did the Minions come from?
The Despicable Me franchise.
Okay.
So
I saw the first one.
Yeah, so the Despicable Me and all the sequels and the fun, the kids' money and all that kind of. And again, I took a lot of heat at the time because I didn't grade Despicable Me that high. I kind of called it kind of a little better than mid, slightly. It's like that, 2.5 to 3 out of 5. You got kids, they're going to love it. So add a whole star for like the little kids. And the Minions were made for that. And they're made for gags and selling toys and whatever.
Right.
So it made for another sequel. It made for a Minion spinoff. And I admit they're fun and they do have some heart. They're not, again, it's a typical kids movie stuff. I've talked about it on my channel. Yeah. I know you've seen a lot of this stuff. Most kid movies are just kind of like mid movies overall. Like they're okay. And they're fine. They have heart. They might have morals, and they have a journey. Where they at least have structure to them, but they're not a rewatchable adult Like we're not out there rewatching most kid movies. It's just not. There's not a lot of Toy Story 1 and 2s. There's not a lot of Incredibles. It's just not like that. So, but that's a very soft opening. But the big thing was young Washington beat Supergirl, which I have to be honest, it's even worse than I expected. This is the latest numbers on Supergirl as we head into the Odyssey weekend. It's only at 107 overall. It is in bad shape. And I guess they're saying it's going to head over to digital within a few weeks. So Supergirl's about done. Is that even a more shocking number than you expected?
Not really.
No? Okay. It's a little lower than I even expected. I expected it to just be at least summer fluff. People would go see it. Like I thought it would just be, something to do.
This has two things going: superhero fatigue, and the whole power boss girl fatigue.
Yeah, that's very true. That was something that we talked about briefly because Critical Drinker says. He had a great video. They was talking about Odyssey and talking about Supergirl and some of this kind of stuff. And I thought, if you haven't seen the video, it is quite interesting. He kind of pulls up a little graphic that's kind of along that lines. And I think it is quite interesting. It's like how many of these type of things are true. And reality is it's probably a little bit of everything and just, more or less for certain people and certain things. Right. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll try to find the right one. I think it's this one. Make sure I get it the right spot.
I mean, it's. I wouldn't say it's superhero fatigue in general, but in the realm of the MCU and DCU. You know what I mean? The movies. It's like we've seen all of it before. It's they're going for the snappy, funny things in the wrong places, and politics shoved into it.
Yeah, it's first off, I have my screen too big. That's why I can't see anything.
But by the way, when I mentioned politics, I mentioned our current politics.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I don't mind politics within the universe. It's the shoving our politics now into it.
And I think for me, Supergirl represents, like you said, superhero fatigue for X amount of people. Girl boss fatigue for X amount of people. Also just bad story. Like it's just not a good story to adapt. I know you have, since we talked, you had actually gone out and read Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me your take on that.
It's a True Grit ripoff.
You're being kind in the most kindest ways. It's one of the worst True Grits ripoffs I've ever seen in my life. It's horrible.
Yeah, I all from the third person. Or from the, I mean, it's just like the movie. You have the girl narrating. Was that in this movie? Was the girl narrating the movie?
I don't remember. I don't remember Supergirl if she's narrated or not. Trust me, my take on Supergirl is I was so bored out of my mind. Imagine making a superhero movie like this so boring. All the action scenes are spoiled in the trailers. If you've seen any of the footage, you've seen this movie. Everything is gray, brown, beige. It's bland and boring. She's smarmy, drunk, frat girl-ish. Just Very much. I compared the character in that Woman of Tomorrow to the Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. Is that fair?
In the comic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like it was watching Brie Larson in a Supergirl story. It was completely strange and weird. This,
I mean, it's. I told myself I'm not going to remember this story after this.
Well, you'll remember it because it's True Grit.
Yeah.
So it's real easy to remember the essence of the story because there's no story. It's her getting drunk.
And the girl narrating everything was really annoying.
Yes. Tom King, like many DC writers, I don't know why DC does this. They have a lot of writers that like to do first person young female voices, and it's really, really bad.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's very common. I
like the artwork. The artwork was okay. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought
the story is boring, plain.
Yeah, there are so many elements that are just terrible. Decepticon, hey man, says I won't go see Odyssey. I think you're amongst many people. I think most people are like, I'm out. And I think that's your thing is with Supergirl and others. We mentioned superhero, girl boss. It's just all the PR things. Like how many people are just fed up with the race swapping? How many people are just fed up with like the Ellen Page stuff? How many people are just fed up with Hollywood already calling you names or telling you that you're just grifting because you're bagging on a trailer or you're bagging on a photo or whatever, and
saying this movie wasn't made for you, and then getting blamed when it doesn't do good.
Yeah, and like we said, John Leguizamo tells you don't go see it. Like you don't agree with me politically, so you shouldn't go see any of my stuff. So yeah, everything looks bad. Decepticon, did you go see Supergirl? We're kind of transitioning off Odyssey into that. He's all about seeing Spider-Man take my son. Yeah, I think Spider-Man is going to be the thing too. It's going to kill Odyssey's momentum, even if it has any. Because Spider-Man, even with all of my fears of it being mid, it could be fun.
Yeah,
it could be fun, right? Spider-Man. No, never. No, yeah. So yeah, I put up the sales at the old yacht club. Was bored out of my mind with Supergirl, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. Lobo keeps coming back, so he has a scene, and it's Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa. I'm not trying to praise it to being anything great. It's just him being Jason Momoa, but he's perfectly cast as Lobo. He's just Jason Momoa, like smoking a cigar and riding a motorcycle. Super cool. It is distracting because he actually just has so much cinematic presence. Like it literally steals the show so much. That's all you want is more of that.
It's like, why didn't we get his movie? What?
Yes, that's how you feel. And then at the end, he's there in the cage and he's like, well, they set a trap and I fell into like, what? It makes no sense whatsoever. It's very counterproductive to what we've done. And the movie, the Supergirl movie is constantly being undermined because they have to constantly figure out a way to depower her. Right.
Yeah.
So in the comic book, how she ends up on the kryptonite planet and stuff like that. They're constantly trying to come up with ways to depower her. And it gets really old, really fast. It's basically the same scenes over and over again. And the typical stuff that doesn't make sense. Really bad.
Also in the comic, this planet with the kryptonite was set up to catch Superman.
Yeah.
And he was only there for 40 minutes. He was there on the planet for 40 minutes until the Lantern Corps that rescued him. She was there for 24 hours.
Yep.
Better. Yep. She's better.
And had to have the girl constantly saving her. So.
Right.
All right. I see Comic-Con and other shows saying it's so good. Supergirl is really worth seeing. Effing jagoffs. Yes. It's really crazy. The comic's terrible. The movie's terrible. It's such a waste of time. I'm sorry that Jacob wasted his time, but now he knows that it's True Grit, Supergirl True Grit. And I think, Jacob, we were talking a little bit before the show. I don't know about Decepticon or anybody else. If you watch this, what you're a Supergirl fan of. I've never been into Superboy. I'm not a huge Superman fan. I don't mind them. There are good stories, but that's it. It's usually just a story. It's not like it's a run of like, 100 comics that, every week, every month you can watch. But Superboy, Supergirl, there are moments that have some cool stuff and drawn very well. There's some definitely artists that have done really well. But really, beyond Death of Superman, I can't remember any time I was like really into like what Superboy or Supergirl might have been doing. I just don't. And she basically is just, it's the fembot version of Superman, right? Same thing with Captain Marvel. Yeah, Captain Marvel, the Shazam family, basically the Captain Marvel family is part of that as well. It's all just I don't care about all the knockoff characters. I don't care about all this stuff. And I think that it's hopefully enough for them to wake up that James Gunn, and I said it live when it was announced, and they were going to reboot the entire mess with James Gunn. And I was like, they don't have the money for this. They don't have time for this. I guess they came up with a plan that worked because they were able to get the whole thing sold. Everyone was able to walk away and pocket a whole bunch of cash. But James Gunn is good at James Gunn stuff, which is like Guardians type stories. And Supergirl could have been part of a Superman movie. You know what I mean? Like if we had a Superman movie and you bring Supergirl into it, and you could have this story, but we're talking about like we need like 20 minutes to tell it. Not what you read.
No.
I can't remember. Is Lobo in that comic? I don't remember.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I thought they added him on the way. So
yeah, they added him halfway.
Right.
Her movie's not going to do good. We need something else.
That's true. They have to have gimmicks, and it's what they're doing with Spider-Man 2, by the way. And again, if the subject agrees with me or not, I'm a little skeptical.
One of them remembered the fans really want Jason Momoa as Lobo, and they're probably all like, "Who's Lobo?" They probably don't even know who that is.
That's a very good point too. 'Cause I'm not even sure. I think there's a brief name of who he is because in this when he shows up, the Supergirl's telling the girl to shut your mouth, don't look at him. He's Lobo. I think she calls him a demigod. He's got a lot of swagger, got a lot of fun, attitude about it. He shows up at the end of the movie. It's fine, but leaves. And I can disagree, Decepticon. I can't. I actually don't mind the first Aquaman movie. It's just too long. I don't like him as Aquaman. The movie's fine. No. It's just I'm a traditionalist. I really wish they had cast the what's the name? Josh Holloway, the guy that was in Lost. That's the guy I thought they should have had as Aquaman back then, but they didn't go that direction. So, yeah. Instead of doing a Black Adam movie and all that nonsense.
The guy that played his brother would have been a good Aquaman.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson could have been fine. He probably didn't have a big enough star power name. And that's part of the reason they don't deserve their own movies. They're just not.
That might have been a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You can either elevate them or you just do something else. And don't do that. So that is an option too, by the way. The other thing I think that's worthy of note, and it's still going very strong, and I wanted your thoughts on it because I asked you to give it a go, was the fact that Toy Story, it had a huge splash. It's had a lot of positive and negative buzz. I will tell you, I'm not surprised by the numbers. It'll be at 800 million by the end of the weekend. So it's going to be $1 billion movie. It's very strong. It finished, I believe, 2 or 3 in the weekend with the let's see here. It did at the last weekend. It did number 2 to 30 million last weekend. So even if it does 10, 15, it's probably going to finish at least in the top 3 or 4. It probably won't. I don't know that Young Washington hangs on. That'll kind of be the thing because I doubt the patriotism is going to make Young Washington stay in the top 5. But yeah, you had a chance to take in the old Toy Story 5. You want to give me your take on Toy Story 5? It's an interesting film to at least discuss at least a little bit.
I like that they went into imagination is better than playing on a screen.
Right. Yeah, let me pull up. I'm pulling up the trailer, and we can go through a couple of sequences, at least for sure. One of the strongest things about the movie is the difference between, like, with the opening scene in the trailer, where you see them this sequence, and then you see this right here is later in the movie. This is Bonnie playing with the toys.
Yeah.
So Bonnie is now the owner of the toys. Jessie is her favorite. So Jessie takes center stage. Buzz is her, quote, deputy. And then the other characters have different roles that are completely different and kind of out of character what you're used to, because they're being played with a young little girl. Yeah. And she's kind of cute. She's fine. She is having a hard time fitting in. And in doing so, let's see here. We got to back up, I guess, to the shot where she gets what they call a lily pad, an iPad, so she can fit in with the kids that give her a screen. And the parents do kind of seem reluctant with that. And then you end up with sort of like the social quandaries and the battle between Jessie and Lilypad in the beginning. And then the kids sort of like treating her bad because she still plays with toys. The premise worked out pretty good for me. I did like it. I thought the director was interesting because he was talking about having it be more about like Bonnie's trilogy. So the first three movies are more like, those are his trilogy, but then now we're going to Bonnie's trilogy. If that makes sense, right? So Andy had his time. Now we're doing Bonnie. So pretty good setup, pretty good execution. Did I describe the setup pretty well? I mean, really. Let me pull up.
Much, yeah.
So I totally had forgotten what happened in Toy Story 4. I had to kind of do a little legwork. I realized that Woody decided to stay behind with Bo Peep on the rescue castaway toys things and not go back with Bonnie. So I found this to be one of the negatives because Jacob, it really drove me crazy. Woody had to come back as like a middle-aged dude. He has like a belly now. He's gotten fat and he has this massive bald spot that makes it's like a joke like 3 or 4 times to me. I don't know why the toys age like that. That was really a dumb gag at Woody's expense. But,
well, it was if you've had an action figure and you play with it a lot, the back of the head wears off. The paint. I mean, I've had one that did that.
I guess that's fair.
And that's what it's going for. But
well, it's also going for the old man gag, because the old man gag goes on like it's like 3 or 4 times. So that's fair. I mean, I guess you're right. I guess it's fine. So it's all about Jesse's story now. And that was there was the shot. This is the old man gag. Yeah. I don't know why he's fat though, but that's the thing here. So, and it isn't bad. I do like what you said, dealing with the screens and some of the things. And it's definitely a solid, structured story again. Like it feels like they actually made something that has a story arc. Yeah.
What happens when AI runs amok?
A little bit, but I think just screen time. It doesn't have to be AI, just the idea of screen time.
But the pad thing is sending messages without, you know what I mean? It's sending messages pretending to be the person.
True. Yeah, no, it's out of control. But I mean, I think that I have to give it some leeway because Buzz and Woody have done that all along. They do things on behalf of the other characters, the humans, and they're manipulating the real world, and that was all fine. So I didn't mind any of that. There is also a little story arc with a million other castaway Buzz. So I think this was their way of trying to make Buzz something for the next generation. So there's like what do they call it? Where all the stuff washes up, right? So it's like a landfill overseas from China. It's dumped their stuff in the ocean, so it just washes it up. And all of these Buzz come to life. And in doing so, they're on their own little mission and identity. The only thing I think that was really good about all of this, there is a line, and there's a couple moments of we stop. Why did I freeze when the humans are around? We must avoid humans. So that was the first time they explained some of that. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
No, overall, I
mean,
think
it's
solid.
It's a Toy Story movie.
Yeah, it's solid. It is. It's
better than Supergirl.
Oh my gosh, light years ahead of Supergirl. But it is a Bonnie Jessie movie. My criticism would be it's a lot more about the humans than the toys. So I didn't enjoy it as much as other iterations. I will say poor Buzz gets the same thing happened with the Mario movie. They have him as like the soft male who can't say I love you. He can't ask the girl out. He can't propose to her. Then she kisses him and his leg goes up. It's all that soft soy nonsense type stuff. I hate all of that. Yeah. But overall, definitely a solid enough film. Oh yeah, and Woody's riding like the glittery unicorn at the end, which I thought was a little So some jokes at their expense. So that's a little bit of that, the stereotype of we can't just let Jessie succeed. However, I wanted your take, Jessie. There's a scene where she goes off into the tree and she finds a little secret hiding box of her original owner named Emily, and she sees this picture. I don't know about you, man. I watched it a second time and I got emotional, man. It is if they can punch you in the belly and make you that emotional, they've done something right.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, very solid. So, yeah, I'd have to score it pretty strongly. I don't know that it's going to hold up great for me because I know that sort of like emasculating Buzz type stuff bothers me so much. Like I just don't think we needed that gag. I would have liked the fact that it was a giant unicorn thing, and then for her to be like, "Whoa, I kind of like that." Bullseye to be more like, "Well, wait, Woody could have ridden Bullseye then." But either way, this is a strong enough movie. Probably 3.5 out of 5. Very, it's solid. It's kids are gonna love it. It's still fun. I don't think that there's anything. There's enough to make everyone correctly the bad guy. Lily Pad figures out that she was in the wrong, so it's not really a villain exactly. It's just the concept of screens because the parents are kind of the villains because they're not really know what's going on. Then they do get involved a little bit, so it kind of helps a little.
Yeah.
Glorifying playtime was good. You mentioned that earlier. That's probably the best part of the whole movie. Yeah. And I'm not holding against playtime. Like we see Buzz walking down the aisle as the bride. It's Bonnie playing. So I'm not holding that against anybody else. That's Bonnie. It's how Bonnie would play.
Yeah.
So yeah. Do you think that's a pretty fair assessment?
Yeah, pretty fair. Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's still going to do strong. I think it's got legs. It still seems that it's different enough that parents wouldn't mind seeing it again. I'm not interested the missus doesn't want to watch the Minions either. She's not interested in the Minions one. She's kind of over that. She didn't like some of the promotional material either. She just thought it was ugh. So the Toy Story one, we may watch again with the kids. We'll see. They'll be back here soon. Yeah. I was kind of distracted in the first part of it, so I'll have to see if I want to watch it again or not. I don't know. But I think it'll be a big weekend for box office numbers. We'll see where things go. I also wanted your thoughts. The news of the weekend, the news of the year is that these little low budget, sort of small horror movies type things are all just making tons of money. So Obsession officially crossed 400 million. Right. This is that $750,000 YouTuber project.
Yeah.
Let's see. Backrooms. I don't see Backrooms. Where's Backrooms? Did Backrooms go already? We talked about it not lasting long. I'm not sure.
It didn't last long.
It lasted long enough to make its money. I don't know exactly. Yeah. Oh, this is a daily. That's why. Let me go back to weekend. I think it's oddly not part of the dailies for some reason. Anyway, it shows up on the weekends. 350. It crossed 350.
Okay.
But it's not showing up on the daily thing somehow. I don't know why it goes away. But yeah, it's still getting some money. making money on the weekends. And I mentioned a scary movie. It did all right. I mentioned Send Help. There's one called Iron Lung. So there is a movement of films that have got those lower budgets, and that's what kind of saved Hollywood the first time. So we'll see if they'll get a little bit of the understanding. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not a big horror movie fan, so
yeah. What are your thoughts on seeing anything yourself? You think of Spider-Man being an option?
I don't know. It could be. I mean, I enjoyed the last one.
Yeah, No Way
Home.
Home.
It was more for nostalgia. So
yeah, No Way Home.
We'll see.
Yeah, we did a video on No Way Home. It, I'll just be honest about it. It didn't age as well as I thought it would. But
yeah,
as I said, the daughter and son-in-law usually have a tradition of taking us to the Marvel thing whenever it opens. They don't want to be.
It has track record. Spider-Man has track record for being a fun movie to go see, because there's nothing offensive or so. I think it'll be an okay movie. I'll wait till it comes out on streaming somewhere or something. But
I fingers crossed that some of the things are done right. I'm mostly hesitant about all the other characters, having a Hulk, having Punisher. We're still mysterious about this. The villain being the girl from Stranger Things, Sadie Sink. Where rumors are that she's Jean Grey. I always thought she'd be Spider Queen. She has sort of like a telekinetic mind control thing, but we'll see about that. And then, of course, the other rumors that he could end up in the Venom costume at the end somehow. That will tie into what happens with Doomsday and Secret Wars and whatever. So I don't know. That would get everybody hyped.
Yeah.
Having because the original story was, and during Secret Wars, was he did get venomized, and then it was Mr. Fantastic coming up with the sound machine. That's what would just shoot the alien symbiote off of him. And that ultimately is what bonded to Eddie Brock. So they like to bastardize things and come up with these, we
thought of it first.
Well, that or just this sort of like watered down version without any context, because they don't usually have any context. They just throw things together. So, but
read a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And they definitely do like what you said earlier. They don't make them read source material. They don't have enough depth to, I actually wonder if anybody asked Millie Alcock if anybody had her read the Tom King graphic novel or not. I would be shocked if she read it. It would surprise me if they had her read it, because we usually hear they tell them don't bother.
Think when they hold up the source material, like, I've read this. It's just a photo op.
Usually they're not admitting to reading it. Like for Secret Invasion, they were told not to read it. Like we have them on record.
Yeah, but there are photos of her holding a Woman of Tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Photo op stuff. Well, they're all about Tom King. They definitely are still writing the Tom King He's Great thing, which I don't totally get, but anyway. But you know what? It's great. You're great, Jacob. Thanks for doing this, my friend.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Folks, make sure you check out the comments there. Get connected to Jacob over there, stuff he's doing. He's on usually every Tuesday after my show. So you guys, nice Tuesday double feature for you there. And other shows that he's doing all the time, diving into great content, diving into X-Files, doing all sorts of fun stuff, Jacob. Some boys doing great stuff. One with Roman on Thursdays. So yeah, fun stuff indeed, my friend.
Started to dig into some Babylon 5.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Awesome, my friend. Well, like I said, thanks for doing this, folks. You be blessed. Take care. We'll come back. I don't think we'll have a Popcast for a couple weeks, but we'll try to get another Friday Popcast lined up. But we'll maybe probably around the time Spider-Man does a thing, I could get on here and try to talk about Spidey a little bit. Probably need to do something about comic book stuff too. They do have some stuff that's going to be adapted that's at least interesting, be worthy of talking. So we might do that. But yeah, folks, make sure you check out the channel. Tuesday nights we have live Talk Hard 5:30 Eastern, as well as some other clips and reviews and stuff that pop out over the course of things. So you guys take care. Thanks for watching. I'm Pops.
Bye, y'all.
All I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama. You don't